Shalom everyone, and we are now in Parashat Pinhas. One of the most powerful, when you read the Zohar, one of the most powerful also in the Torah. And as I emphasize, Parashat Pinhas, when you just read the Torah, is being read more than any other parasha. Why? Because you have, in the end of Parashat Pinhas, you have the readings of the holidays. So, you read Parashat Pinhas on the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, on Yom Kippur, on 8 days of Sukkot, on Pesach, on Shavuot. You read Parashat Pinhas like synagogue that has a lot of Sifrei Torah. They usually have one Sefer Torah on, and I forgot, on Pinhas, because also it's being read on Rosh Chodesh. Oh. So calculate how many times. It's like something is there in this parasha, although it's not a very interesting one. However, whoever listens to Parashat Balak realizes how important it is. In the end of Parashat Balak, during Parashat Balak, we had the story of Balaam coming to join with the king of Moab, Balak, in order to curse and to create a genocide of the Israelite nation. He comes, they join together, they trying to do it with black magic, and they fail. Balaam every time is trying to curse. He is finding himself channeling only blessings. We learn two things about Balaam. He was not that much of a fake. He was in a way genuine. You know, anyone can stand on a hill and curse. Anyone. You know, you can even memorize. From home, bring on a note, you have a flashcard, and you can curse really juicy curses, and then Balak will reward you for having like amazing, terrible curses. He didn't do that. How come 3 times he was going to curse and he challenged those most amazing blessings that became part of the liturgy in every prayer book in Hebrew? But who said that? The dark guy, that witchcraft guy, that warlock, that master of the dark arts, Balaam. How could that happen? So we understand, if we read the Parashat Pinhas, the way it says, and it starts on the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 10. V'daber Hashem Moshe lemor, and God spoke to Moses, saying, Pinhas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, Pinhas, the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron, the Kohen, Heshiv et chamatim al bnei Israel. He appeased my wrath from upon the children of Israel. Bekan'o et kinati betocham. When he brought my zealousy into them. And Rashi, remember the biggest commentator, 11th century France, he says, it's still a bestseller, Rashi, it's like nobody will dare to print in any Hebrew book, like to print the Bible, the Tanakh, with a commentary without Rashi. It's like, what are you doing? So the person is like 1,000 years later, he's still a bestseller. So, you know, there was something in there. And he says as follows, Bekano et kinati, benokmo et nikmati, taking my revenge. Okay, it's like Rashi is trying to expand what these words mean. Bekotzpo et haketzef shaya li liktzov, bringing the rage that I was supposed to bring in. Like it's like the words of God. Okay? That's what it means, Bekano et kinati. What does that mean? And we spoke about it last week. However, for the ones who forgot and for the ones who didn't listen to last week's parasha, we will explain. And that's how the Kabbalists explain it. Okay? Balaam was not a complete charlatan. He really wanted to channel darkness and negativity upon the Israelites. He knew how to do it. How? So, you know, Rabbi, the great Kabbalist of blessed memory, Rabbi Nissim Peretz said, It says that Olam Chesed Ibaneh, the world is built upon Chesed, loving kindness. The loving kindness of the Creator is everywhere. It's everywhere, in everything. Why? Because if it was not, we would die a few times a day because we deserve to. What does it mean? We go off balance so many times a day that we're supposed to be get into nothing from a heart attack and any kinds of stuff. But since this world is so full of chesed, we get another chance and another chance and another chance. Oh yes, we kill ourselves so many times. It accumulates. But it accumulates kind of in deep inside. It settles in our cells, in our tissues, but it doesn't show immediately outside. It gives us a long time to recuperate, or to make amends, or to make tshuva, which means return back to ourselves and wipe the negativity before it physically kills us. However, because the dominant force of this world is chesed, you can see people doing horrible stuff, and they don't die on the spot. However, the world cannot work only on chesed. Why? You need some judgment, some gevura. Gevura means judgment, but again, the word in English is not. Gevura means judgment, but gevura comes from the word a hero also. Lehitgaber, to overcome. Which means judgment is a need. Let's say you raise a child. You have to give him a lot of unconditional love. However, if you don't give him the limits, they go crazy. Children go crazy if you don't give them, this is the time you go to sleep, this is the time you wake up in the morning, that's what you have to wear, that's how you go to school, that's how you go and when, that's when you come back home, that's your play, that's when you play, that's time to eat, that's time to eat this, that's time to eat that. You can't eat too much of that, you have to eat more of that. You have to set the boundaries and the limits. That's called judgment. Without it, everything becomes terrible. If you just try to let people do whatever they feel like, I feel like going crazy and scream. No. If you're among people, even if you're 2 years old, you learn that if you want to scream, you scream somewhere else, but not in public, not with people, because that's not good for people. The more you give the boundaries to your child, the more sane they become when they grow older. They become bipolar if you just tell them, yes, for everything. Too much chesed. Too much chesed, too much emotionality. Every emotion is okay. Oh, yeah, you have to express your feelings. And you need to do it right now. No, the same way you don't go to the bathroom in the middle of the, a library. You just go to the bathrooms, but you don't also throw out your garbage in public. You have garbage. Garbage disposal has to happen inside you, in a place that is outside of people's eyes. People don't need to see that. And that not means shutting it down and holding it inside, as we said before. This is the month of Tammuz, that you have to learn garbage disposal, which means you have to eliminate the negativity and transform it into positivity. Otherwise, it can be poisonous for you. But who will teach you that? This is your teachers. These are especially your parents. And that's as you grow older and you start learning, that's what you study Torah for. And it says very clearly, very, very clearly, Lo tisna et achicha bilvavcha, do not hate others in your heart. I didn't say anything, but I have the hatred. Don't do that. How come I won't do that? That's called mind control. That's called emotional control. You want to be a human being. A human being is someone who can overcome his emotions and change them. How? We said last week. You want to be a king? You want to be a melech? Moach lev kaved. First comes the mind. You want to stay balanced and healthy. You need to have very straightforward set rules and ethics in your mind. Then The mind will set the rules and the way for the heart. If the heart goes to places the mind does not allow it, the mind should show you movies. How you go and you get rewarded by more light when you are not hateful, when you don't go to resentment, when you don't go to anger, because anger is idol worshipping. All of this stuff we spoke about, these are Torah rules. Speaking bad about people is following feeling bad about people and not treating that on time. You have to kill these emotions when they're small. And if they become too big, they're never too big. So ask for people's help. Talk to people that are going to help you overcome and to realize that certainty and faith means that everything that happens has a good reason. And so look, where does it take you? What does it teach you? How does that make you a better person? So you need, in order to balance yourself, you cannot have just chesed and emotions and sensitivity. This is impossible. It will kill you. That's why we're in the month of Tammuz, which is the sign of cancer. Oversensitivity brings to all kinds of diseases that in a big name you call it cancer. You need to instill some judgment. Where is this judgment coming from? Say the Kabbalist, says the Talmud. The Creator, in order to balance the universe, injects once in a while a little injection of injection of judgment, just that the world stays balanced. Balaam knew that. He wanted to harness that injection, to find that injection, to connect to it, and to funnel all of it at once into the Israelites. Since nobody is perfect, the moment there's overwhelming judgment, they will collapse. However, the words that he says is Matovo Alecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Israel. How good are your tents, Jacob, your dwellings, Israel. Why? He looked at the camp and he saw a very harmonious, egalitarian, happy, loving community. And as the Zohar says, when a group of people are in love with each other and are united, no judgment can touch them, no judgment can hurt them. What was the result? The judgment was turned off. So Balaam could not hold on it, just temporarily. And so Balaam is trying one time, second time, third time. He realized that the judgment is off. What does he do? He goes to Balak, that treat him with real no dignity. Why? The guy is blessing. Instead of Balak appreciating it, this guy is really genuine because he's channeling. He's not just making up a voodoo ceremony just for drama to make money. He was trying to channel the judgment, but he couldn't find it, so he channeled whatever he found. And that came out as blessings. He was real. Balak did not appreciate that. But Balaam is telling Balak, look, I learned something. There's no judgment right now. The Israelites have no judgment right now. Judgment means also to overcome and to set boundaries. You know what happens the first time when there's no judgment? When everybody's into unconditional love, just love me without any judgment, just love me. It means some people will take the opportunity to do whatever they want, which means take your money, harass you. You know, all of these communes that came out, you know, like mushrooms in California, for an example, or in the, upstate New York during the 60s, what happened with them? Terrible stories of abuse. When there's so much freedom and nobody is supposed to judge, someone will say, nobody's judging. I can take everything and nobody's supposed to judge me. It's always happening. And there's going also part of sexual freedom, which means everybody can do whatever they want, which never brings to happiness. It means to some joy, but is always the morning after. The betrayal, the emptiness. Why? Because you need something to contain the chesed. It has to go by certain rules. Otherwise it overflows. And then it goes to cancer. Swinging from manic to depressive. Manic, depressive. You need chesed and judgment. You need to combine them together. You need to put the boundaries. You know it for yourself. No discipline. You can have a hell of a life. Everything is great for a few hours, for a day or two, and then poof, everything collapses. Discipline is your ability to show restraint. What for? Because you're a creator. And a creator, somebody who takes responsibility on his life, he's watching his spendings, he's watching his sexual conduct, he's watching his way of talking to others. Everything has to be balanced. Why? What's balanced? That's why you have to study Torah. You have to study the rules of morals and ethics that are thousands of years old. Why? If you don't have it set in your mind, how can you take over and control your heart? And what if the heart is leading? What's wrong with the heart leading? Oh, from a melech, a king, you become a lemech. Lev, moach, kaved. The heart comes first. A lemech is a no goodnik. I won't say somebody he's never in the zone. He's never there when it happens. He's always somewhere else when they need him. It's like, why? You're not attuned to the flow of the energy of light and prosperity and fortune, good fortune in this world, because you're off the grid. Too much. You're not balanced. You get off the grid. And how do you feel? Depleted and empty. That even makes it worse till you start to be so aggravated. That goes to the liver now. Now when the liver comes first, you are klum. Kaf lamed mem. Kaved, lev, moach. Liver, heart, brain. What is that klum? That's a no one. That's a nothing. That's a no goodnik. It's like this guy always rumbles and he has always complains about everything and he has no energy. Everything is pfft. And his liver is secreting cholesterol like crazy. And no medication will help because the liver is inflamed. Now, so we're not talking about a story of 33 centuries old. We're talking about this parasha is about us because we're talking about basic rules of health. Balance. Chesed, a lot of chesed, with always an amount of judgment, which means the rules must be kept, of human conduct that is fair, honest, and at the same time, you're not breaking the rules that the last few thousand years showed. When these rules are being broken, everything falls apart. Now, Balaam is telling Balak, they can't say no. Send right now the most beautiful girls of Midian and Moab to seduce the Israelites. Most of them won't be able to say no. And he was right. Why? There was no judgment. Everything had the spirit of, wow, everything is so great and so positive. Why making judgment? This lady comes to you. She wants you to go with her. You're married with kids. Yeah, but that is discrimination. You should love me as you love your wife. You should love everyone the same, right? And the guy's like, wow, there's so much love in the air. Why not? There's enough for all of you. Just for this wife, for this girlfriend, for another girlfriend. Everything goes. What's the result? It's always turning sour, that stuff. What can we do? There's a way humankind is structured. The rules in the Torah are not rules of morals that somebody created in the 16th century or in the 18th century. Okay? These are rules that are universal rules. So when you understand that, you understand that something went off and a plague started. People start to die like crazy. What is a plague? A plague is a state in which not just one person dies because it's offline, off balance. It's becoming like a mental state of a whole community. So therefore, more people die than the usual. That's a plague. There's a definition of how many people die in a community over a certain or day or a week, whatever they call it, a plague. But you know, when it's a plague, it's get everybody upset and very scared. So the story is that God tells Moses the only way to stop it is to kill whoever follows the Midianites and the Moabite girls. That turned to be like almost 200,000 people. So Zimri, who was a very, very old man, he had nothing to do with that stuff. So the Midrash is saying he was one of the top leaders of the tribe of Shimon. And of course, most of the tribe of Shimon was very, if you know the stories, they were always in the front when it came to, let's go for it. Shimon is harsh judgment. So they come to Zimri and they say, Zimri, don't you know what's going on? The guy was very old. He was centuries old. He was so old and wise. And he said to them, what did you do? He knew, you up for trouble again? He said, yes, we went after these girls, and now Moses says we have to kill everybody, and that means most of us. So Zimri goes into the story, and he realizes what's going on. He takes Cosbi, the daughter of the king of Midian. There are 5 of them, one of the kings. And he comes to Moses and says, are you crazy? You're going to call all of us to kill so many of us? Who's going to stay? Something is wrong with you. I'm going to do it right now. And just by the way, I'm going to sleep now with a Midianite. He didn't do it because he had like passion. The guy was very old. He made a statement. He wanted to stop the killings. But he said to Moses, you took a Midianite too. Tzipporah was the daughter of Yitro, the priest of Midian. In that moment, Moses was not able to sit in court in that case. All the rest were in shock. Everybody got emotional. You know, it is when everybody gets emotional. We said, don't trust your decision. Don't trust your judgment. Because your judgment is on the wrong kind of judgment. The only one who got it was Pinhas. Because Pinhas, he cared for the people. He didn't think about himself. He came to Moses and he said, Moses, didn't you teach us that when somebody does that in public, he has to be killed on the spot? And Moses says, you're right. Go and do it. I cannot do it. They will say, I was insulted by his remark. So Pinhas risked his life. He goes into the tent. He tells the guards, Shimon, they were really big guys, told them, I want to join the orgy. And they let him in. And he hides a spear. And he kills both. And what the Rashi says, Bekutzpo et haketzef, bringing the rage, my rage that I was supposed to, what Pinhas did at that moment, he awakened the judgment manually. And everything came back to balance. Sometimes you have with the stink of judgment, you can get everything back into balance. Because sometimes the person, if you learn all kinds of spiritual kind of holistic medicine, it's not about treating the disease. It's getting the person back into balance. And when the person is back into balance, the body knows already how to heal itself. One person needs that, and another person, we structure a little bit different, each one of us. We don't take the same medication and we react the same way. We're different. But what's special is the most important thing, how to get back into balance. Sometimes you need more chesed. Sometimes you need just a bit of judgment just to center yourself And the moment you're centered and you don't have guilt anymore, or anger, or hatred, all of them are a result of imbalance. Balanced people do not hate. Balanced people don't have rage attacks. Balanced people do not have guilt and too much love that suffocates the other person. Balanced people always know to project balance around them. The moment we are exposed to imbalance around us, and that reverberates inside us, it shows that we have a disease fermenting inside that we did not notice before. So Pinhas, when he came with that aspect, on one hand of unconditional love to the nation, because he knew that has to be stopped. The killing has to be stopped, and the death, the plague has to be stopped. He knew they're going to kill him, because the people of Shimon would kill him after he killed their leader. So he was okay with that. That was with total love to those people, that they were going to kill him. He didn't mind. It was okay. But 10 miracles happened to him at that moment. How do we see that? When it says in verse 11, Pinhas, there's an additional Yud, but not a regular Yud. Yud is the smallest letter in the alphabet. But here it appears as a small Yud. The three sizes of letters in the Torah. Here it appears with a small Yud, which is the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Why? Well, because it's the smallest letter, it means there's a biggest amount of white. Which means when you pull yourself away, there's so much space for the light of God to come in. Let go and let God is so powerful over here. In the middle of the strife, in the middle of the killings, in the middle of the stress, in the middle of the disaster, Pinhas was the only one who knew what to do, because he was willing to let go of everything. Especially, what about me? There was no me. There was everyone. He didn't kill the two because he was upset, because he hated them, because he was angry about them. He did it because he knew that what had to be done, and somebody has to do it. Like, this was this commander in the Israeli army a few years ago in Lebanon, Roy Klein, blessed memory. Somebody threw a grenade. They were entering Lebanon. Somebody threw a grenade, and they were standing there, the whole team. And he was the commander. He knew someone has to do something. He jumped on the grenade, and he took the blow. And he saved by this the whole team. He knew someone has to do it, and he knew nobody's going to do it, only him. A family, a married person with a bunch of kids. But somebody had to do it, and he was the one. He realized he has to do it just to save the others. And when people do that, when people really are totally selfless, this is called Kiddush Hashem. It's like you take the Shem, the name, your being, your desires, and you turn it into something of everyone's. That power heals more than anything else. When a person, and how many stories you hear about people who were going to die. They were sick, but then they made a promise. God, if you give me my life, I'll dedicate my life to your people, to your world. And suddenly, people got healed. Why? Why do people get sick in the first place? People get sick because of darkness, not because of germs. There are so many germs around and inside us. We have 1 trillion germs inside us. We have just, if you take what's inside one human's mouth, more dangerous than a dog's mouth. Mm-hmm. Right? You can kill a whole city with the germs you have in your mouth and in your throat. Why they don't kill you? As long as you're balanced. They can't kill you. So it's not the germs or the viruses that kill people. It's imbalance that kills people. And imbalance starts with selfishness. When the judgment is simply what the Zohar calls left column. Me, and another time me. How could someone, so why in the month of Cancer? Month of Cancer is all about giving and sharing. Yeah, when you give and you share with not because it's your feelings, not because there is logic behind it, not because it's going through certain rules of values and ethics that you study from the Torah. It's just because it feels good, it feels right. No, whatever tastes good, it's good for you. Whatever feels good to say is supporting your interests. No, we know that. Whatever it looks good in your mind to do comes out. Always, it was a good decision. We learned in the last month. No, you can't trust it. If it comes from selfishness, if it comes from only me, this is always going to be taking you. It's always going to take you into the wrong path. That's why you need to have very, very strong sense of values. Beyond, I feel I'm entitled to whatever. That's what for? For your health. For your well-being and then your health. Pinhas, he was willing to give away everything. And then the Zohar says, Roim hayu, it's verse 6 in the Sulam. Roim hayu in the Zohar. Roim hayu of Parashat Pinhas. Roim hayu Israel באותה שעה. The Israelites at that moment were supposed to be totally extinguished from the world. שיכלו מן העולם. אלא שהקדים פנחס אותו מעשה. But however, Pinhas, step forward. הרג את זמרי וכוסבי. He killed Zimri and Cosby. ונשקט הכעס. And he quieted down the rage. זה שכתוב פנחס בן אלעזר בן אהרון הכהן השיב את חמתי. That's why it says what we read before. אמר רבי שמעון, אדם זה, don't want to go into it. בואו, ומי שקנה לשם הקדוש של הקדוש ברוך הוא. That's verse 11. Whoever has zealousy for the name of God. What do you mean the name of God? For the revelation of the rules and for the spirit of the Creator. And what do you mean zealousy? You know, a lot of people there in the name of God create so many atrocities in the history of mankind, like, God forbid. That's why what the sage is saying, with Pinhas he had 10 miracles. That's a letter Yud, which is 10, and it's small Yud because so much light came in because Pinhas allowed it to come in. Why? As we said again, he was not there to show I'm right, they're wrong. I'm angry because I'm right. If you're angry, even though you think you're right, you better shut up. Take your time, go to the side, deal with the anger, kill it before it kills you. Bring love, bring consciousness of light. How do you know you are back into light? People don't upset you anymore. You can accept them as God's children and your siblings. We all God's children. We all his sons and daughters. Whoever has zealousy for the name of God, zealousy here is not out of hatred or rage or anger. It's on one hand, knowing what's right. The other hand, knowing the boundaries. אפילו שאינו צריך לזכות לגדולה, even that person does not deserve greatness and is not supposed to get any of it. הוא מרוויח אותה ולוקח אותה. He earns it and he takes it, because when you live with total zeal for the light of the Creator to show it, and to with the price of discomfort and losing the ego, you don't care about what people will say, but you do it in order to raise people and raise reality. And you do it with love and excitement. you get another place. You simply ascend to a miraculous place. That place is a place of healing. That place is a place in which you unstuck yourself, because you were stuck somewhere because of all of these like issues and conditions, whatever you name it, and excuses. And the moment there are no excuses, simply the light of God is nothing but that. And you do it out of love. You get the healing. You get to yourself a position and a possession that you never had before, because you made a quantum leap to a place where, wow, where am I? Not because you wanted it. You just wanted the light. But it comes with the territory. A higher level of light is also a higher level of everything. Maybe not everybody else will appreciate it, but then you don't care about it, because happiness is very relative. How do you know you're really happy? You share it with others unconditionally. Pinhas lo haya ra'ui lekehuna. Pinhas was not supposed to be a Kohen at that time. Ela mishum. And as we said, he showed that Korach was right and he was wrong. Korach was right. Everybody can be a Kohen. He missed one thing. Are you willing to do what it takes to be a Kohen? Korach just wanted the job. He wanted the prestige. Pinhas wanted to help. He was willing to give his life for it. He did not want to be a Kohen. He just wanted to do the job. What was the result? He did the job. He gave his life. He was clinically dead. He came back to life, and he found himself becoming a Kohen. Not just a Kohen, the higher priest. And what it says, most of the high priest in the time of the temple, first and second, were his descendants. He reached a place that he fixed himself. He fixed also the two sons of Aaron that got into him to help him and to fix themselves by doing that. Remember, how did they die? They jumped on the light. They joined with him jumping on the light. When he wakes up, he's not just Pinhas. He's a Pinhas, Nadav, and Avihu. And then from that moment, he started to be called Elijah the prophet. That we know, he didn't die. He, 700 years later, after this scene, he goes up in a chariot of fire, and he's there whenever he's needed. He just travels between the universes. He's not subjugated to here and there, and to the physical and spiritual world, and to physical life and death. He's just beyond that and above it. That's who Pinhas became. Why? The zeal, the love, the excitement after the light and after caring for people. There was not even a bit of hatred or anger. If that was there, he wouldn't be what he became. Okay? So this is one of the top rules of the highest level of healing. When you sit there and you're busy healing yourself, you're busy with yourself. If you really want to have the highest level of healing, go and heal others. And that, there was somebody who wrote a book about it. It's called the Healing Power of Doing Good. That even cancer patients, instead of sitting and feeling sorry for themselves, they go out and help others. They live longer. Years longer by average. What about people who do it with so much excitement, they get healed on the way and they forgot, what happened? I was sick, what happened to me? You know where it is? We're so busy doing good to others. And then you forget that you were sick, and when you remember, where did the sickness go to? But that needs a sharing with a lot of zeal, with a lot of excitement. And everybody knows excitement and happiness and caring and sharing are healing forces more than anything else. But you have to understand, it's a mixture of love and judgment. How come? When we speak, I spoke about it many times, but again, when we speak about that, you need to have together chesed, loving kindness, combined with, the people like, I love everyone. Let's meditate. Just send positive energies and so on. That's only chesed. It can help. But more powerful is, let's do it. Let's change everything. Where is this coming from? That's fire. Where is fire coming from? Gvura. So the word judgment is doesn't totally fit. That judgment, so we're talking about fire. Fire is left column. You need left column. Can you have light in a light bulb without the minus? No, you need plus and minus. Okay, so you need to awaken also fire. But what fire? It's a fire that in Hebrew is called hitlahavut, excitement, and not daleket, which is inflammation. Inflammation is when it's selfish and angry. Excitement when it is totally altruistic. That is the fire that heals. Combined with the chesed of love, together, this is the energy. If you go to many records of people who reach not just a remission, a real healing, spontaneous healing, it goes together with taking life with excitement and love and positivity. How can you do that? First of all, go and find yourself around people like this. If you don't go to support groups of people that everybody moans and complains together about how terrible is this condition. Run away from that like fire, because they will keep you in that situation. You have to go to people that their energy is so fiery, so much fire and excitement that it's catching. That they're happy, they're excited. They don't sit for a second. They just want to do the good because they have to. Because it eats them up, or drives them through. Okay, so then we learn that this was so powerful with Pinhas, and that's why Pinhas became the higher level of healing. Before that, the uppermost was Aaron, his grandfather. But Aaron, as we said, when it was time for him to sacrifice himself for everyone, he did not. When the Erevav came and said, make us a god, he took it and made the golden calf. He was supposed to say on my dead body, to heal everyone. He did not. Pinhas did that. So now it's a chesed that is coming together with fire. This is more healing than just unconditional love. It's very good unconditional love. It can help people recuperate from a lot of trauma. But it's not enough. You need fire. Okay? Now, let's go and see where else it... In this parasha, after that, we have few tools, and that's why reading the Zohar of this parasha, listening to the Torah reading on this Shabbat is very, very powerful as a healing device for the whole year, as a healing potion for the whole year. So you have here, over here, the promise for this priesthood, and also here's a person that defied death till today, because everywhere Jews are doing circumcision, they invite Elijah the prophet, right? Mm-hmm. Every time we do the Seder, we put a cup. A chair for Elijah the prophet is kiseh, and the cup for Elijah the prophet on the Seder is a kos. Kos and kiseh, it's like you need to create a vessel to invite in that power. What is the power for Elijah the prophet? Defying death. Defying death. That's the fountain of youth. That's the healing, that's the holy, real holy goblet. That cup of Elijah on the Seder plate, on the Seder table. Because that power is the power that arouses always life out of the ashes, no matter how terrible it was. Then we go here. Vaidaber, we are in chapter 25, verse 16. וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, and God says to Moses, צרור את המדיינים והכיתם אותם. Harass the Midianites and beat them up. Didn't we say you should not have a revenge? And the rest of the story is about how you get organized to get an army to destroy the Midianites. They've been destroyed only in the next parasha. Why? Because if you look at the word Midian, Midyanim, what is the shoresh? Din, judgment. Oh, and the Midianites, they had 5 kings. When was the last time you heard about a nation with 5 kings? Huh? Either 1, 2 is usually already disaster. 5 of them? What do you mean 5 kings? The 5 kings of Midian is the 5 judgments this world has to fix. There are 325 judgments that humanity has to fix till we come to a balanced state. Till we do that, we will be plagued by diseases, mental and then physical, heart and brain and liver and the rest of the body. It's all coming from judgments we did not balance. 5 judgments. You take the word din, Kabbalistically, din 5 times, you get the word din is judgment, 5 times 320. 320 shach dinim. But there are 325. We'll see where the other 5 are coming from. So when he says harass the judgments, you want to get healed? This week, Parashat Pinhas, and the weeks after, of the 3 weeks that we are facing, because Shabbat is the beginning of the 3 weeks of Bein HaMetzarim, of judgments. You have to harass the judgments and beat them up. All 5 of them, which are basically 320. These are the 3 weeks. This is the hub of all of mankind's judgments and negativity. I'm talking about the terrible ones. How do you harass them? You sweeten them up. How? When you turn the judgment and the anger into love, understanding, with, I love you, it doesn't mean I agree with you. Okay? I can dispute your attitude and your opinion. It doesn't fit my morals and my ethics, but I can dispute you only when I love you and I really care for you. If I don't, you're sick the same way that he is. Because you have a Satan party. Both of you fighting about what? Who is right? You're both dead right. There's nothing. There's no hatred with reason. It's all hatred with no reason. Why? Because any hatred will kill you. Both of you. Both sides. So you have to harass the judgments. You want to be healthy? You want to heal? You want to have a happy, healthy, balanced life? You have to harass the judgments. Not the people you think they are judged. Their judgments are not yours. You have to harass your judgments. How do I harass my judgments? The moment you meet them, you have to beat them up. How do you beat them up? You feel like killing someone? Go and do something good to someone else. Have acts of kindness and loving on just the opposite. This is the time to do good to others. This is the time not to judge people. This is the time, of course, don't go against what is right and what is good. But never do it with upset. Never do it with anger. You have to set the boundaries for yourself. You have to sweeten the judgment of yourself. Harass them. Don't trust them. Kill them so they don't kill you. And when you kill them and transform them, you make a big contribution for welfare of mankind. The next story will teach us where are the rest of the judgments. We said there are 320 din. Dalet is 4, Yud is 10, Nun is 50, 64. 5 of them, 320. Where's the other 5? We said humanity has 325 judgments to heal, to fix, to transform, to control, in order to bring an end to misery and suffering. Oh yes. Chapter 27, verse 1. ותקרבנה בנות צלופחד בן חפר בן גלעד בן מכיר בן מנשה למשפחות מנשה בן יוסף, ואלה שמות בנותיו. צלופחד, which is, if you know Hebrew, צל פחד, the shadow of fear, the shadow of death. It's the daughters of Tzlofchad. There were 5 of them. How many? 5. The daughters of who? The shadow of death. 5 of them. Here are, and their name are, what's her names? Machla, Noah, Vechogla, Milka, V'Tirza. The first one is very interesting. Her name was a disease. Who calls his daughter a disease? It's like, a person like this should be like, I don't know, but I don't know about his ability to be a father or a mother if you call your daughter a disease. That's her name, Machla. Okay? 5 of them, these are the other 5 judgments, and they represent 5 other judgments that are known to be the 5 final letters in the alphabet, in the Hebrew alphabet. Mem, Nun, Tzadik, Pei, Kaf, Mantzpach. Those final letters, numerical value, 280. 280 is also par. What is par? An ox. Remember we spoke about the red heifer? Mm-hmm. To the right, it's a lion. To the left, it's an ox. An ox is the left column, the judgment. That's why a red cow is the female negative of the ox. Minus, minus, minus. Triple minus. Okay? Mm-hmm. Mantzpach. Also, how did we call them? The final letters. There are 5 Hebrew letters that when they are the last letter of the word, they change a shape. Why? Because if you know how to control them and transform them, you can reach immortality. This is the secret. So, those 5 judgments, either they are death or they are healing. 320 plus 5, 325. So, when you talk about harassing the judgments, it's 5 times din. There's a meditation, you write 5 times din, and 1 time mantzpach. Then you get the judgments that you have to transform into positivity in order to reach not just simple healing, healing that defies death, that defies aging, that defies, because what is aging? Where does he say a person has to age? We have the DNA to rejuvenate ourselves every day. Why do we get aged? Because we get judgmental. Because we are being harassed by the judgments instead of us harassing them. You have to decide. You can't just sit there and wait for death to come. You have to harass death in order to live. How do you harass death? You feel like, dying? No, let's do something good. Let's get excited. Your metabolism is rising up. So, we know also that 280, which is an ox, it's also the same numerical value as Ayin Reish Yud, from the 72 names of God, which is certainty. When you have certainty in the light, you can harass any judgment. By a smile, by a laughter, by excitement, by doing exactly the opposite. Your heart wants to kill, you bring life. Your brain wants to revenge, you give a hug. You just do everything, and with excitement, not with like, I have to, what can I do? I have to. No, you do it, and these energies are the energies of love, the energies of healing, the energies of youth, the energy of the fountain of youth. So final of youth. So in this time of 3 weeks, you have to do over loving kindness with excitement, over mikveh. Be careful not to go to the sea for that. Take safe places, because right now it's by law. It says by the halacha, no, this is not the time to go to the sea, no time to go to deep pools and stuff like this. Just a mikveh, place that is set for, little springs, everything that has the energy of life in a spring, in water, like as many times as you can, just to remove the judgment, just to remove the negativity. So then when you reach that, then the Zohar comes with this most beautiful that I have every year in the time of Pinhas. You have to read that. This is in the Zohar, verse 386. Let's read it in Aramaic. Ad dehavu azlei, as they were walking, ata nishra ravreva, a great nesher is an eagle. I don't know, maybe. Nesher, an eagle. What is that to symbolize? What did we say in the chariot of Ezekiel? The ox was the left. Who was the center? The eagle. What does it mean, the eagle? When you balance the right and the left, the water and the fire, the loving kindness with the judgment, then the eagle appears. The symbol of eagle. Aschar al Rishayu, he circled around their heads. Vekam alau, and he was standing there. You know how when the eagle just gets over the currents of air, it just looks like he's standing there up in the... Amar Rabbi Pinhas, said Rabbi Pinhas, Vadai idan reuta hashta. This is a time of good willing. What do I mean good willing? The expression good willing, reuta, is a game of words in Hebrew. Et ratzon. It's like, it's a time of judgment that is turned over into time of appeasement. Because the word desire in Hebrew, ratzon, has two aspects. One is the loving and kindness and healing the Creator is giving, which is only positive. But there's ratzon, which is the desire of a person, which can be negative if it's for self, just selfish. Then it becomes terrible judgment of death. So when you turn the desire to receive for the self alone to the desire to receive for the sake of sharing, you pull down and you reveal the upper desire, which means appeasement. It's not that God desires something. No, it's the light of appeasement and fulfillment. And that's why the time of third meal of Shabbat, usually the time of afternoon and sunset is a time of judgment. People feel melancholy, they feel heavy, negative, whatever. Sunset is not the time of, it's not that the people are standing in front of the sunset and they're so excited. That's in front of sunrise. Sunset is like, heavy. Third meal of Shabbat, the energy of Shabbat is so powerful, says the Zohar, so the negativity and the judgment transforms to Ra'ava de Ravin. Et Ratzon, the time of good willing, time of appeasement. So that's what we're saying. And what's the symbol? The eagle. That's why it's called the third meal. What's third? The nesher, the eagle. Bashata, at that moment, itpatchu ta'arei rachmei, the gates of mercy open up. There's chesed to the right, judgment to the left. Rachamim, mercy to the center. Some people say by mistake, mercy is the right column. No, mercy is, Rachamim is the central column. What is Rachamim? When the judgment and the pain and the sores turn into healing. That's Rachamim. Then the gates of Rachamim, of mercy, open up. Lechol inun beimareu, to whoever is in their deathbed, whoever is sick. This is the time to heal them. Although they are the prisoners of the king. Do you hear well? When somebody is sick, he's a prisoner of the king. You know, when society wants to take revenge on someone, they have to lock him in. The Creator himself doesn't lock them in. They lock them in their bed. What's the person who's sick? He's tied to his bed, right? So he's locked in. He doesn't go around hurting other people. He's kind of in a prison. Being sick is being in a prison. Correct? So that's why. So who are you, says the Zohar, to release the prisoner from his prison? You know, if you want to heal someone, he is God's prisoner. You're going to unleash him? Yes. If you bring him to correction, he doesn't have to be locked in anymore. There's no interest for the Creator to lock him in. He's locked in not to hurt himself, to be locked out of hurting others. Okay? This is a time of healing. What is the time of healing? The time of eagle. What is eagle? Central column. The balance. When you bring appeasement, when you turn, how do you do that? A lot of chesed, a lot of study, a lot of really centralizing yourself on values and ethics that are real, that are true, that are based on the Torah, because they connect you to the light. Not because somebody decided, because Zot Chukat Torah. This is the law. This is how the universe is structured. That's what you do, that's what you don't do. That's how you do, that's how you don't do it. Not because somebody said it's nice. These are universal rules of conduct. Okay? So, here there was a lot of stuff more about the eagle. But the eagle comes in Shin Tzadik Bet, 392. בעוד שהיו יושבים מן הנשר בעליהם ושושנה אחת בפיו. And they were sitting, as they were sitting, the eagle came back and he brought a rose in his beak. And he threw it in front of them. And he went away. They saw it and they were happy. אמר רבי פנחס, רבי פנחס said, וכי לא אמרתי לכם שהנשר הזה הולך ובא בשליחות של אדונו? Didn't we say that this eagle is a messenger? This rose is a hint for that healing that I spoke about what is about? It's about bringing everything to balance. The rose, this rose is the rose of the upper union. What's the upper union? Ki b'Shoshana, that rose is a rose with 13 petals. What is 13? The 13 attributes. What is 13 attributes? Love, oneness, echad. When a person reaches that place of I'm one with the world. So if I'm one with the world, it's like, if somebody has a pain in his finger, do you sit there and you curse your finger? You get upset about it and go complain to the UN about your finger? No, it looks very ridiculous. But if you understand that the world is one, and if there's a part of the world that is sore and aching and inflamed, it's part of you that is inflamed, and by raising your consciousness like Pinhas with excitement and love, you balance the whole world, not just yourself. So, complaining about that person is terrible and this one is negative, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're just making more inflammation. But you go around and do good to counteract the negative. Oh, the moment you know morals and ethics, you know who's good and who's bad. You know who belongs to the axis of evil. You just know that. But how do you fix that? By hating them? You add darkness to darkness, does it become light? No. You have to create more light, more positive, more love, more balance, more acts of kindness and balance, And that will finally balance the rest of the world. This is what healing is about. So these 13 petals, this rose of 13 petals, are structured of so many structures that, let's say it goes on explaining. The 13 petals rose, they symbolize the 13 attributes. What are the 13 attributes? The 13 attributes come in the worst time after the sin of the golden calf, and Moses says to the Creator, I know you love us. I know you're crazy about us. You know, you gave us a treasure, the Torah. It didn't work. You love us. You can't hold yourself from giving us something stronger. You do not want our demise. You created us so we will be happy. We're not. We messed up. Give us something stronger. So then the Creator gives him the super powerful remedy, the 13 attributes of mercy. What mercy? When you pull in, what 13? 13 is ahava, love. Echad, one. That's the gematria. That's a numerical value. That's the ability to go one up above nature. Nature is 12. 12 months a year, 12 particles in physics. Everything is 13 is one above. That's going to 13 means to go beyond. Where to? You will have no idea. Like being unconditionally loving and caring, that's going beyond your logic. What do you find over there? What you never expected. A better place, a better light, a better fortune, a better position in life, a better you. Something that's called a miracle. That's a 13. And then you get it where? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. 6 words. Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. 6 words. How many together? 12. Unite all of them as one. 13. 12 chalot, according to the Arizal and to the Kabbalists. You do the blessing on Shabbat on 12 loaves of bread. What if, like, they laugh at me. So you take 2 long breads. Each one looks like a vav. Right? 2 vavs, it's 12. Vav is 6. 2 vav is 12. You put them together as one, 13. Again, you bring in the 13 attributes into your life. If you're just following into drawing down the 13 attributes into your life of mercy, what does it mean, mercy? It's God's unconditional love towards His creation. When we remind this to ourselves, we bring it down all the time. Just a second, how terrible, chaotic everything looks like. Everything came from unconditional love. Don't forget it. Don't freak out. Certainty. You come into it, you bring it down, you draw it in, you bring in healing. And okay, there's more to it, but we're running out of time. Of course, Parashat Pinhas is so powerful, it's amazing. It tells also about how to heal the inflammation of the heart, again, with air, with sharing, with love, with balancing, with breathing. Okay? And then it cools down the judgment. So this is the article of the inner organs that you find in Parashat Pinhas in 399. All of this, all of those treasures in this Parashat Pinhas, when you read Parashat Pinhas, when you scan the Aramaic, when you go to the mikveh, when you just do more and more acts of kindness, when you simply harass the judgments. What judgments? Your judgments. Whoever upsets you, harass the judgment. Whoever makes you sour, harass the judgment. How do you harass the judgment? Do the opposite. You feel like killing someone? Help somebody to live. You feel like hurting someone? Do something nice to someone else. Just that the way to harass the judgments. For the whole month. Not just for this week. For the whole month from today till the 9th of Av. When you harass the judgments, you have the ability to tilt the scale towards life. And in a month from now, we'll be in a much healthier place. Thank you, and Batzlacha.
Sure.
Lots of